that it was exclusively impoverished African-American women who were in that abortion house of horrors. It must really resonate.
Hello
even
there, and
deeper
welcome
for
to this par 4
raising
first
a young
hole.
black boy.
Let's get some fresh air, okay?
Well, yeah, in many ways. I mean, it is. The sad fact of the matter is that a lot of these the justifications that guys now use is, these children are born into a life of poverty and they're going to have a hard time growing up. They're probably going to become criminals. I'm doing a service to society. That was sort of how he looked at it. And, that's really the tragedy of it, is like these people are playing God. They're deciding these babies here
pretty
are not
deep
worth
rough here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
To be productive members of society. And that's a real sickness, I think. And it's, it's basically racist. It's what Margaret Sanger advocated. You will take away the dregs of society or whatever. And yeah, it certainly is something that I've thought about.
One last thing, pivoting back to the news of the day, the Kavanaugh. I've seen on Twitter you're very active in observing the Kavanaugh melodrama that's playing out here. I'm surprised at how many people in Hollywood are jumping on board with this thing and condemning Kavanaugh for what he's alleged to have done, considering the stories we're hearing out of your town and out of your industry. Suffice to say, no one from L.A. or the film business will be on the Supreme Court, given this standard?
Right. Yeah.
29 feet from the hole.
I mean, I think my industry has a lot of bandwagoners, a lot of people who really don't think things through. And, basically what they're advocating by this Dump Kavanaugh movement is my entire industry is saying that a person is guilty until proven innocent. And that's the scariest thing of all. It's a totalitarian philosophy, which means that if someone accuses you of something, you're guilty unless you can prove that you're innocent. And that's just an absolute reverse of how our society is built.
Yeah, pretty sure some young men froze their toes off in Valley Forge to fight against that exact idea, Nick, seriously. But people forget these things. I know you were around for that, but, Nick,
I remember it well.
Always good to talk to you, and congratulations on the film. Tonight is the big
starting things off at even par.
DC, but the rest of you
Okay, it's time to send this ball on its way.
That's when it releases nationwide. Nick Searcy, thank you for joining us.
Is it going to be your first time seeing it too, Larry?
Yep. So I'll be there.
Good.
I'll be there. I look forward to it.
All right, great.
Tonight, 7 o'clock, Alexandria. I'll see you there. Oh, my goodness. What a good guy. And, yes, follow him on Twitter. Yes, Nick Searcy. You will be amused and offended. I'm just letting you know. But it's good. You'll be amused while you're offended. 414 on WMAL.
Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids.
Looks like you'll be in the short stuff here.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars
Okay, 180 yards from the pin here.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
To learn more about our programs and to donate, go to carsforkids.com. That's Cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and real estate donations.
Solid
It's
swing.
4:15 WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the 5s. Ed Rodriguez is in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
And boy, do we have a tough start to the rush hour in Lorton right now. 95 at Springfield.
Well, you're on the green. Huge putt coming up.
Still in both directions, with both the two southbound through left. As a matter of fact, all the southbound lanes are closed. They're going to let you by only slowly on the right shoulder. Also, if you're already committed to the express lane, to the right express lane is blocked by a very serious tractor-trailer crash. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
Rain chances up a little bit in the short term. Looks like we're going to dry out by the end of the week, but pretty soggy through Wednesday at times. Tonight, some light rain at times, a low in the mid-60s. And then as we head through Tuesday, we got a pretty stout cold front moving in, a good chance of thunderstorms. Some of them could have strong gusty winds, maybe some heavy downpours, highs near 80. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel on WMAL.
Right now, we're looking at 66 degrees, kind of blustery at 417.
Did you ever get tired of being right?
105.9 FM and AM 630.
I have no problem with that.
Washington's Mall.
And with that, you will stay at even par.
Listen, if it's time to, look at your car right now, all right? If it's
Third
time
hole
to look
coming
for
up.
A new car or maybe
Take
a
your best
pre-owned
shot.
car. Ford has got to be one of your top choices, right? American-made, solid legacy, and what a lineup of great cars from the F-150 to the Mustang to everything in between. I like the Edge. I like the Flex. I like your Explorers, all of them. Great cars, right? And let's face it, there's a lot of options, a lot of choices as to where you can get your Ford. So what are you looking for? You want a great deal, and you want to be treated well with respect. You want to be treated like you are special and that you're not just, some payday for some shark of a salesman. That's why I highly recommend my friends over at Coles Parkway Ford in
Solid
Woodbridge,
swing.
Virginia. Coles Ford is committed to providing you with the positive experience of a lifetime. The minute you walk in that door, you're not going to be treated like a mark. You know what I mean? And listen, don't believe me.
And it looks like we have about 135 yards or so to go.
For the past 4 years in a row, the President's Award. That's the Ford Motor Company's most prestigious award for sales and customer service, and that's what you get from Coles Ford. Also, by the way, one of the largest selections of new and pre-owned vehicles in this entire area. They're going to have what you want when you walk down to that giant showroom they've got in Woodbridge. If you mention WMAL, and you really should, they're going to give you an extra $250 savings certificate just for showing up. So please check out Coles Ford. They serve the entire Washington, D.C. area. It's worth going down to Woodbridge. Check them out online. COWLESFord.com. That's Coles with a W, Ford.com.
You like a good fit. We get it. Your best running shoes, your lucky cap, your favorite pair of jeans. Your favorite things feel made for you. Your education should too. University of Maryland University College was founded more than 70 years ago to serve working adults and the military. Today, we continue that tradition by offering frequent start dates so you can get started on your schedule with convenient online learning and by providing no-cost online resources, replacing most textbooks because a college education can work for your wallet too. University of Maryland University College. State University, global campus, made for you. There's still time to enroll in a master's degree program at UMUC. Choose from the award-winning MBA, the Cloud Computing Architecture Masters, or one of our graduate cybersecurity programs. No GRE or GMAT required, so get started today. Classes start October 3rd. Visit umuc.edu/radio. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Live and local. You're listening to The Larry O'Connor Show.
I love seeing this coverage of all the protests over the Kavanaugh hearings, right? They're protesting at Susan Collins' office. They're protesting at Chuck Grassley's office. They're protesting in the Senate. They're protesting on DuPont Circle. And they're all getting arrested. And it's like, it's because of these charges against Kavanaugh, these allegations. Wait a minute. These morons were protesting during the hearings before we had ever heard of these accusations or allegations. They're going to protest him no matter what because, he's not Hillary Clinton.
One over for the round.
The Supreme Court because he's a Republican.
Fourth hole
nominee.
coming up.
That's all that's
Take
going
your best shot.
on, right? So that said, there is something about this Kavanaugh conversation that we've been having as a nation that has struck me. And I want to have this conversation, but it's not really about Kavanaugh per se. But I've noticed this trend in how we talk about this. The allegations that were made about what happened here in Chevy Chase. By the way, I saw the Huffington Post talk about how Chevy Chase is a bastion of old school conservatives here in the Washington, D.C. suburb of Chevy Chase. I'm like, excuse me, I lived in Chevy Chase for 5 years. I was an island. I was alone. There were no other conservatives in Chevy Chase, but, if you don't live here, that's what you're going to, because they're rich. I'm sorry. I went to church at Blessed Sacrament, and I saw Chris Matthews and Mark Shields passing the collection plate around. The homily, maybe once a year we'd have something mentioned about how God really doesn't like abortions. But other than that, pretty liberal church, okay? Don't tell me that Chevy Chase is a bastion of conservatism in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., Huffington Post. That said, this event that was alleged to have taken place 36, 37, 35 odd years ago in this home with these teenagers, allegedly. Let's set aside for a moment that the story has a lot of holes in it and it's not credible and that it's absolutely despicable that Kavanaugh even has to defend himself against such sketchy allegations and charges. It has no place in our American political conversation. Set all that aside. Let's set all the politics aside. I've noticed something. People talking about this often will say, even if it did happen, it was the 80s. It was different back then. The kids back then were doing a lot more than they were doing right now. You have to understand it at the time. And let me be clear here. I get that. I agree. See, I'm Generation X, right? So I was a teenager in the 80s. And they're right. This is a very weird phenomenon. And I'd love for you to talk to me about this. Just bear with me for a second. The baby boomers,
and that'll keep you at 1 over for the round.
Their morals than their parents were, right? And we Generation Xers, we were looser with our morals.
Okay, here we go.
Than our parents. And so it goes, because usually if you look at the course of Western civilization, at least for the last couple of hundred years, that's sort of what happens, right? Each new generation seems to be a little bit more loose, a little, they act a little crazier, especially when it comes to dating, making out sex. I think it stands to reason that as society has moved forward and gotten looser, right or wrong, that each generation after the next ends up being a little bit more
all right, looking good so far.
A little bit more permissive. Except this one. Now, this is what's weird. We are all saying, listen, you kids today, you millennials,
find
you
ourselves
don't understand. When
right around
we
200
were teenagers
yards out.
back in the 80s, man, we could do anything. We were partying, we were sleeping around, but you kids didn't do that. Like, have we actually raised a generation that has stricter morals than we did? My kids, well, all right, I'll elaborate in a minute, but you get what I'm saying. Were we actually looser when we were teenagers with our morals than our kids are with their morals? And why is that? 888-630-9625. You get what I'm saying, right? The 80s were crazy. Crazier than now. 888-630-WMAL.
Sweet.
Washington's Mall, WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Can your bank detect Alzheimer's?
He would pay bills and send them to the wrong place.
7 on Your Side reveals a medical breakthrough to alert families the devastating disease may be lurking. Tonight on ABC 7 News at 6.
I'm Dr. Sean Murphy.
ABC Tonight.
I have autism.
Last season's #1 new drama returns.
I can help people with medicine.
His greatest challenge.
I have cancer. I've got a long journey ahead of me.
I'm going with you.
Is his greatest strength.
I have a solution.
He sticks to his gut, and he fights what he thinks is right.
The Good Doctor, following the Dancing with the Stars live premiere.
Starting tonight at 8, followed by ABC 7 News at 11. 7 on Your Side's Stain Remover Showdown. Store-bought versus cheap homemade remedies. We get the dirt on what works best for the toughest stains. Store-bought stain remover. Is it worth it? Tuesday at 6:30 on ABC 7's Good Morning Washington.
Great pot in there. All right.
It's 425.
Okay, so that'll keep you at 1 over for the round.
Here's Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're looking
all
at
right.
a big deal here.
Let's
on
let it rip.
95. The backup now begins in Newington, right at Fairfax County Parkway, southbound. Here to standstill. Traffic only gets by on the right shoulder. The scene of the serious tractor-trailer crash is right at Lorton Road. You're also going to find the right express lane blocked off. A semi crashed through the Jersey Wall there. Westbound 66 now, stop and go from Nutley Street to Route 28, eastbound in Falls Church from the Dulles Connector to Sycamore Street. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
Rain chances up a little bit in the short term. Looks like we're going to dry out by the end of the week, but pretty soggy through Wednesday at times. Tonight, some light rain at times, a low in the mid-60s.
Great contact.
And then as we
nice
head through
swing.
Tuesday, we got a pretty stout cold front moving in, a good chance of thunderstorms. Some of them could have strong gusty winds, maybe some heavy downpours, highs near 80. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel on WMAL.
Okay, looks like we have around 155 yards to go.
Will give you an instant cash offer on your home. This is Mary Walter. Contact the agent that I would use to sell my home. Call the Kerry Shull team at 703-952-SOLD or kerryshull.com. That's KERISHULL.com.
IT orchestration stories from CDW. A social media company knew that data was the currency of the digital economy. But when it came to monetizing it, they were being shortchanged. So CDW orchestrated a data fabric solution from NetApp, creating a hybrid cloud to help them move data faster, innovate quicker, and make decisions
Could be in the rough here.
Data flexibility by NetApp. IT orchestration by CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/NetApp. CDW. People who get it.
We have thousands of clients. Some were worried about taxes. Others wanted to avoid probate. Many lived in fear their money would wind up in their child's divorce case. All of them were relieved to hear about our Reservoir Trust. This is Attorney Mike Collins. Come to my seminar and I'll explain in plain English how you can get your legal house in
All right,
order.
we got a 22-footer. Let's see if we can do this.
The freedom of having a great plan. Check the mail for your special invitation and register now at MikeCollins.com. That's MikeCollins.com.
Yeah, that perfect example. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That was the teenage movie, high school movie of my era, right? That movie would never be made today. It's way too racy. That would get like an NC-17 right now. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But Fast Times at Ridgemont High actually reflected what was going on in the 80s. This generation, their high school teen movie is like, Easy A, which is sort of naughty and suggests a whole bunch of sleeping around, but actually the movie itself, nothing's going on, if you've seen it.
Two over for the round.
Darcy in Virginia. I feel like my generation was
okay, it's time to send this ball on its way.
Generation.
Oh, I agree. I have a 37-year-old and I have a 15-year-old, and I have two in their 20s. So I have one every decade, the last 3 decades, and I could tell you my 15-year-old is much more socially conscious and aware than my kids that were born in the 80s.
Isn't that weird, though? Because I would think like
it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the kids of the 60s and 70s were a lot looser than the kids of the 50s, right?
I know. Well, that was me. I was, a child.
Someone's
going to
need to bite.
The halter tops, the bell bottoms. There was more skin showing when I went to high school than, they would ever allow today.
What is that all about? I think this is a very strange phenomenon that we've actually raised kids who are like a little more uptight than we were.
Yeah, but I'm happy, though. I'm happy my 15-year-old doesn't with social media, wants to know how to make the world a better place, and a lot of his friends do. It's really an interesting change. See it.
All right, Darcy, so I'm not alone on this. When you look at how people are talking about the Kavanaugh alleged thing, which I don't think really happened, they're saying, oh, yeah, it was the 80s, it was different. Really? Why is that?
Okay, so that'll keep you at 2 over for the round.
We're going to continue this conversation. Have we raised a generation that is actually more moral
coming off
than we were
par
when we
on the
were
last one?
teenagers?
Let's see what happens here.
888-630 WMAL.
WMAL FM Woodbridge, WMAL Washington.
Get your shot at $1,000 4 times a day. 4K a day on WMAL, a Cumulus station. News now.
WMAL News at 4:30. I'm Maria Lee. Following reports of a second allegation of sexual misconduct, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell defending Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. In a speech on the Senate floor, McConnell says that Kavanaugh will be heard on Thursday.
Let's put aside this last-minute unsubstantiated smear. Let's return to the facts. Let's have a fair hearing on Thursday.
Nice swing.
Here are the facts that we do have.
Tonight, Brett Kavanaugh and his wife are scheduled to appear on Fox News in the 7 p.m. hour. President Trump spoke at the United Nations after his meeting with South Korean President Moon Jae-in and revealed that he would have another summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in the not-too-distant future, but did not reveal where that summit would take place.
Location to be determined, but we're both very much looking forward to having it. It will be between North Korea and the United States. It will be similar to the format we had before, most likely a different location.
Montgomery County has already seen 11 fatal pedestrian crashes so far this year.
Last year we had 11 people die crossing the street. So the fact that we reached that same level in August really concerned us all.
Captain Thomas Didone, director of Montgomery County Police Traffic Division, says most of the pedestrian fatals were concentrated in one central business district.
Was the fact that occurred in our Wheaton CBD.
Captain Didone notes that 80% of the time,
the pedestrians at fault.
Barbara Britt, WMAL and
Great
WMAL.com. Some Arlington residents less than thrilled that the county is replacing its old Salt Dome
this one's for
with a
Birdie.
new Salt Dome.
The current structure on Old Dominion Drive holds 60% of the county's salt, but it's rusted out, so a new dome's being built, and that angers residents who are hoping for something better on that spot. Mike Hogan is with the local Citizens Association.
We want to be good county partners, and we want to be good citizens. Please don't punish us for that.
County board member Eric Gutschall says they tried to find a better spot but ran out of time.
A low probability of successful completion and operation this season.
Lawmakers say the new dome will remain in place for 3 to 4 years. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
That was nice.
Tiger Woods' first tournament victory in 5 years was a ratings boom
All
for
right,
NBC.
one over for the round.
Your 2018 Tour champion.
Okay, here we
at the
go.
Players Championship, which is the biggest non-major golf tournament of the year, drew a 5.21 overnight rating on NBC. That was up 206% from last year, making it the highest-rated non-major PGA Tour broadcast of the year. Streaming of the event was also way up, with the final round resulting in 18.4 million minutes streamed. That's up a whopping 561% from last year's tournament. That's the most streamed Sunday round on any of NBC's sports networks since they started streaming in 2013. I'm John Stolnis.
Checking your money, the Dow finished the day down 181 points. The S&P 500 down 10. The Nasdaq
Heading
up
for
6.
the green
WMAL
here.
Sports brought to you by NBC. The Nats host the Marlins at 7:05. The O's take on the Red Sox in Boston at 7:10. Monday Night Football, Steelers and Buccaneers at 8:15. WMAL traffic and weather next.
For Birdie.
Tonight, Emmy-winning The Voice is back with Adam, Blake, Kelly, and Jennifer Hudson. Then it's the premiere of Manifest. A plane missing for 5 years miraculously comes home. The passengers haven't aged a day. Why? Manifest. Tonight after The Voice on NBC.
Want to get a fast start on your holiday fund?
Yes.
Your chance to win $1,000.
I am excited. That's awesome.
4 chances each weekday. It's $4K a day on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Like the New Year, September is a month for renewal. It's a great time to reaffirm resolutions like losing that weight and getting in shape. Easier said than done? Not with EMP 180, the new standard for weight loss and fitness programs in the DC area.
And that'll keep you at one over for the round.
Me, you've lost weight and then gained
Okay,
it
let's
back
put this
over
drive in
and
the fairway.
over again. EMP 180 is different. Trust me, it works. It's time to get off that weight loss roller coaster. EMP 180 is programmed to fit into your lifestyle, not the other way around, offering incredibly personalized service that utilizes qualified masters in nutrition, registered dietitians, and an entire team dedicated to helping you achieve your goals. EMP 180 goes above and beyond with phone calls, emails, restaurant info, grocery lists, following up on a bad week. You are not alone with EMP 180. For a consultation in Tysons, Rockville, Woodbridge, and a brand new location in Alexandria, call 855-888-0180 or Google EMP 180. That's 855-888-0180 or Google EMP 180.
Find out how DC retires on the Retirement Keys Saturday afternoon at 2 here on WMAL.
WMAL traffic and weather. Here's Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
If your commute involves southbound I-95 between Springfield and Lorton, here's the situation. All the through lanes are completely closed. Traffic is only getting by this tractor-trailer truck at Lorton Road on the right shoulder. We've got the right express lane also blocked. And your best workarounds, Route 1 and 123, are starting to build up with spillover traffic. In Merrifield, westbound 66, very slow from Nutley Street to Route 28. eastbound from the Dulles Connector to Sycamore Street. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, here's the WMAL Weather Channel forecast.
That takes you down to even par. Nice.
Rain tomorrow, high 80.
All right.
It's 67 in
Put
Reagan
fairway.
National. I'm Maria Leaf on Washington's Mall, WMAL.
Now, the Larry O'Connor Show. At AM 630.
Seriously, when people ask me what was it like when you went to high school back there in California in the 80s, I say watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It really, I mean, that's why that movie resonated, because all those people were in my class. Yes, I had a Spicoli. I had many Spicolis in my class at Corona Del Mar High School. It was like that. Including,
now that was a swing.
Yeah, sadly, all the loose behavior. And when we're talking about these allegations against Brett Kavanaugh back, what was it, 82 they're saying, or 83?
I'd say it looks like around 145 yards from the pin.
It was different then. And I realized that millennials or the children, the teenagers, like my teenagers, I mean, and again, I'm not doing this in a negative way. I'm actually proud of the fact that we've raised kids that are a little less crazy than we were, that you know, actually have some more morals. I find it fascinating, though, that we were okay with that. You know what? We always said, you know, parents, oh, you're a hypocrite if you did a bunch of stuff when you're a teenager and you don't let your kids do the same thing. You know, if you were
I'll tell you what, everybody ends up here sometimes. Take this as a learning opportunity.
Do it, or if you're hard on your kids. And I'd like to say, no, you're not a hypocrite. You're smart. You actually have wisdom. You've actually recognized how you sort of dodged a lot of bullets there. And there's no way you're going to have your kids go through that and the potential downfalls and dangers of that kind of lifestyle. I'm proud of our generation for doing that, ill-advised, I must say.
Well, at least you're out of the sand. Okay, we're putting from around 15 feet out.
My kid, I remember when I was in high school, I had a job at Disneyland, which sounds great, right? It's not, oh, boy, good, you know, all-American, you know, morals and all the, you know, Disney life, right? Let me tell you something. Backstage at Disneyland, especially in the entertainment division where I was, backstage at Disneyland is like, you know, a free-for-all at the Playboy Mansion. It's a party back there, my friends. It was nuts. And when my kids, growing up in Orange County, California, they're like, oh, Daddy, you worked at Disneyland for your high school job. I want to work at Disneyland for I'm like, no, never will you work there. Even when you're an adult, I will stop you from working there.
Sitting at one over for the round.
Right? So I find this
okay, and we find ourselves now on the 12th hole. Let's see what you can do.
We have to explain to our kids about the allegations about Kavanaugh, where we got to say, yeah, well, you know, that sort of thing happened. And it was the 80s. I think that's interesting. I do. I think it's noteworthy. And apparently so do you. 888-630 WMAL. And again, I don't believe the Kavanaugh allegations. This has nothing to do with Kavanaugh. I'm just saying this has inspired this thought process of mine. Doug in Maryland, you're next up on WMAL. This isn't Doug Gansler, is it?
Solid swing.
No, it's not. All right, because I know, you know, he was kind of crazy in his youth. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was there with you. There in your last set. You said everything I wanted to say, so I really got nothing to say now.
Oh, no, you'll say it better, I promise. Go ahead.
Well, I totally agree with you. You know, I graduated high school in 81, and, my gosh, you know, my parents didn't know half the stuff I actually did. And
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
So, I really, you know, my wife and I, we're the parents of, I'm Catholic. We have 13 children, and we've raised them knowing all of those bullets that you needed to dodge, and you just instill in them now a strong faith and really try to guide them in the way that they need to live their lives, and trying to stay on that straight path. You know what I mean?
I think what happened, you know, things got loose in the 60s, obviously, right? And things got loose in the 70s, and I think that we sort of were teenagers in the wake of all of that, but we were also raised post-Reagan, where a sense of morals and faith and conservative thinking was a little bit a little bit more prevalent. So we went through it because of the generations before us, the 60s and 70s. But then when we got to be adults, we're like, wait, we were nuts. There's no way we're going to do that again.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, my parents.
Which is,
they didn't
wow, thank you for that.
About, sex
that was an amazing pitch.
Like that.
And that performance brings you down to even par. Not bad. Nice bird on that last hole. Let's see another one.
Yeah, Doug, exactly. Oh, God, thank you, Doug. You took the words out of my mouth. My parents said, half the things that it's terrible. And listen, maybe I'm being naive here. Maybe it's the same with my kids. Maybe my kids, 30 years from now, will be doing their own radio show saying, my dad thought I was, they had no idea what I was doing. But I truly believe, and I do think I keep pretty good tabs on my kids, I truly believe they had a much tamer high school life than I did, and it seems like you did. 888-630 WMAL.
Nice. Should
Chris
be in the fairway.
In Marshall, Virginia, you're on WMAL.
Hey, Larry, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
It's interesting. I grew up out here in Fauquier County, and I really think that there is a difference in the paradigm in as much as, when I was in high school, we had a smoking area, a designated smoking area outside the cafeteria.
Yes, so did we. Yeah, that's right.
We had field parties that were epic. And, I graduated in 84, I believe, and we'd go to D.C. because the drinking ages were lower and it was just so much more lax. And let me tell you, Ms. Ford's contemporaries, they were renowned. This was the age of